Alright, hello and welcome to Bo Beats. My name is Bo and this is a channel about music production. So today we're taking a closer look at the Arturia MiniLab MK2 that they just announced and I think it's released now on their website. So I did a previous video where I talked a lot about my first impressions of the physical appearance, and in this video we'll be looking at how the hardware interacts with the software and how it sounds. So I will go over sort of what the knobs do, play a little bit, showcase some sounds, and I will try and also show some demos I made using only their new software, the Analog Lab Lite. So if you haven't checked out my previous video where I talk about the physical appearance and what I think about the build quality, you could go and check that video out as well. I'll put a link in the description. Now, I could just say for a start that I think that this is a really interesting product, build quality wise. It's a lot better than their Mark I. It's also a lot better than a lot of other cheaper MIDI controllers. The keys are supposed to be the same as on their key step, and they feel really nice. But before we go any further, we need to have a little sip of the coffee. And yeah, I have coffee in my studio where I also have a lot of expensive stuff, so deal with it. Alright, so we're in Cubase 8 Pro here, as you can see, and I have loaded a number of Analog Lab 2, or actually Analog Lab Lite, because it's the same software. So what I want to do now is I want to start off by showing a pretty cool, let's see here, a pretty cool bass arpeggio here that I found. Let me just open it up. And I think we could just, see how I can affect the sound. So this is a sound that is a multi, which means that I have two different sounds. You can see on the right side, a Matrix 12 sound and a Mini. I'm not sure exactly what the Mini refers to, but I guess it's a traditional or older synthesizer. So these two sounds are played together, and then we have two parts we can affect using these knobs here. So that's what I'm going to do. So let me start off by, tweaking the sound. So as you can see, it's pretty easy to just, turn the knobs. Now, it wasn't the biggest difference I made on this patch, and that's sort of one thing to keep in mind. This package comes with presets that aren't fully editable. You can't really edit them like in depth, but there's still a lot of parameters you can change. And if we take a look here, you can see that we have 500 presets in the Analog Lab Lite, and in the Analog Lab 2, the upgrade that costs about, I think it's about 29 euros or something like that. There are over 5,000 presets. If we check here, you can see that it's also very easy to filter out what presets you want. So for example, here I can use the knob number 9 here in order to change type, characteristics, and so on. So for example, if I take bass here, for example, you can see that I get a lot of different bass sounds that I can pick here. For example, this one. Or if I want to, I can, go into strings, for example, and pick something else. I'm not sure, but this is... Oh wait, I have to declick the bass here. Alright, so here's a... Let's see here, here's a string. And here's another one. We can also, organ, for example. As you can hear, I'm not really a keyboard player, but you get the feel for it. There's also some percussive elements here. I wouldn't say that the percussive side of this particular product is the best. It's more for bass, lead sequences, SFX and so on, and pads and so on. But it's, you know, the percussions are so-so. I actually made my own multi, so we can check that out up here. It's just a kick and a snare. And basically a multi is just having two sounds that you have mapped to the keyboard on a sort of different parts of the keyboard here. So if you can see here, this is the dome kick, and then there's a seed snare. And using parts 1 and parts 2 down here, I've actually managed to edit them a little bit as well. So that's pretty cool. So now what I want to do, I just want to play you two demos that I made using the sounds from this product, and you can hear that there are a couple of tweaks that I'm doing as well, and I'll try to do some live tweaking as well to the, I think I'll do it to the drums because I think that will sound the best. So let me just play you two demos and talk a little bit more about the software and hardware combination here. So as you could probably see here is that, you know, on the screen here, you could probably see that when I started to turn the knobs, there was some jumping, parameter jumping. Basically, when I started to turn, it jumped, snapped, because these are endless knobs, so they don't know, the physical knob doesn't know where it's at in the program and vice versa. So basically it jumps a little bit. But it's not a huge thing, and it goes pretty much for a lot of the controllers that they, you know, they're perfectly in sync. It's not like my Steinberg CC121 that has a motorized fader that knows where it's actually, it snaps into place when I sort of change channel. So this was one demo, and I'll play you the second demo here as well. So as you can hear there, I sort of, used the snare and brought it in as we went along using the knobs. So what do I think about this overall product? Well, I think it's a really interesting product in the sense that you get a hardware-software combination that works really well together for about 99 euros. You have to remember there are only 500 presets, and in 500 presets it's not little, but it's still, in the sense that you can't tweak them that much. You might want to consider upgrading to the full Analog Lab 2, which is I think about 29 euros. Then you get 5,000 presets. If you want to go further, you know, down in the rabbit hole, you probably want to go into the V collection. I actually have both Analog Lab 2 and the V collection thanks to a friend of mine. So I tried it out and the controller works really well with both the softwares. Basically what you get in the V collection is you get each individual synthesizer that you have in the Analog Lab 2, but you get the actual synthesizer, the virtual synthesizer with all the knobs, all the parameters. So the Analog Lab 2 and the Analog Lab Lite are basically preset players. As you heard, the sort of sounds you get out of it are very synthy, kind of old schoolish, but I still like them a lot. I think they are really, you know, there's a depth to them, definitely. Using the knobs here in order to shape sounds works nicely. Of course, there's some snapping, like I talked about. And sometimes, you know, they jump a little bit, and sometimes they aren't perfectly, you know, they aren't perfectly, so how you say it, you know, they don't flow or follow perfectly, but overall works really nice. The faders here works nice as well. I can just, you know, show you the type of responsiveness that they have. Let's see if we can find a good sound. Oh, let's see here. Okay, so this pad here. So basically the knob wheel, or no, the mod wheel here affects different parameters in different presets. I think the pitch wheel is pretty accurate as well. So I haven't used the drum pads a lot, but they are pretty straightforward. Just, you know, jam away on them. So is this the same as a hardware synthesizer? No, of course it's not. It's a big difference between a hardware synthesizer, the kind of, you know, 100% accuracy between the knob and what is actually going on inside the synthesizer. You can't really emulate that. But is it close? Yeah, in some ways it is. And it gives you this kind of feeling where you don't have to look at the screen, you can still twist knobs. But don't get me wrong, this is still something that if you enjoy hardware, this might not sway you into going into software. But if you enjoy software and you want something tactile, something to use with your computer, especially if you're a beginner, I think this is an excellent choice. So this was sort of my first look at the sounds of this Analog Lab Lite and the Arturia MiniLab MK2. I might do more videos if you want me to. Just leave a comment. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, slap a like on it, consider subscribing, and I hope to see you in the next video. So thank you so much for watching and have a pleasant day.